I'm Colt Stevens from C. Stevens Gunworks. The following video you're going to see is an archive of my earlier work. Some of these earlier videos of mine have some great information that I really wanted to repost and preserve. So I hope you enjoy the content and I hope you learn something from this video. Today we're going to be doing another gun review. Today we've got the Thompson Center CR22. This is the CR22. This is the CR22 Edge Camo exact model on here. And this one is a pretty feature-dense rifle, so it's going to take us a little while to get through this one. This is basically a competitor to the Ruger 1022, and the Ruger 1022, of course, being around for a very long time. It doesn't have all the newest features, and of course, for people to be competitive with that, they're going to put out a product with more features, more user utility. So we're going to see what the features are of this rifle and how they're seen to be competing with the 1022. Just looking over the manual, it had quite a bit of features that I was surprised at. Even down to this rifle takes 1022 accessories and parts, so that's very interesting to see. I don't know legally how they can do that. I guess if it's a generic 22 part, they can just say, oh, well, it will work for a 1022. So some of it's cross-compatible. I guess it's dependent on the manufacturer. Stocks may be interchangeable. Triggers, I don't know. Probably the Picatinny rail on the top, I would say, is 1022 spec, but don't hold me on that. Things like that. Some accessories are interchangeable with the TCR22 and the Ruger 1022. This is actually the first one I reviewed that has been this close to the 1022. So we'll see what we think about it and go from there. So let's get in here and see what we got. Got tape on here. Never before been opened. The first person to see this other than the factory staff. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Who knows what awaits us in this box. All right. Let's see what we got here. Very nice. Excellent. You got a manual there that looks identical to a Ruger 1022. See the gun itself right here. There it is. First impression, very good. It's got a nice camo on here. This is the Realtree. Realtree, I believe is correct. Yes, Realtree camouflage is what they call this. The Realtree Edge. It's got the Realtree logo right there. Right here, Realtree, and it's got like an antler symbol on here. Keep going with what's in the box. So we'll set that aside for right now. We have our manual right here. Looks exactly like a 1022 manual, but of course it's Thompson Center. Thompson Center is Smith & Wesson brand nowadays. Ruger is, I think, owned by itself. I don't think it's owned by anybody. And Smith & Wesson, the Smith & Wesson conglomerate, has Thompson Center. If you're curious, got a warranty card, registration card. Here's your Smith & Wesson card right there. California Firearm Warning, Proposition 65. Always know it's going to be a good one when you see that. We have a Magpul co-branded stock brochure. So of course this is M-LOK on here, so that would be Magpul branded. That's of course why they're putting this in the box. This is M-LOK under license by Magpul. It goes over some of the features on here. Tells you a little more about your rifle and this little thing right here. See if we got anything else in here. We have a lock. A lockdown. The manufacturer of this 15-inch cable lock, if you need it. Let's set all this back in here and get started on the rifle. So, the gun itself, getting started on the rifle itself here. It comes with a chamber flag, which is nice if you ever need one. Some ranges require that you have a chamber flag. So we'll pull that open, pull that out real quick. You'll notice when I pulled that bolt back, it stayed open. That's one of the features of this rifle. You know, something you don't really see on the 1022. It does have a hold open, but it's not per magazine. These magazines do hold it open. And we'll see if we pull the magazine out if it stays open on top of that. And it does. So right there, there's nothing in it, and it is a hold open. So it is internal. It's not just on the magazine. And there it is. So that's how you get it unlocked. The magazine itself, 10 round flush fit magazine. This is a press lever to load. Oh, it has a quick load on here. You can kind of get it started. That's kind of nice. Looking at it, it looks pretty much like a 1022 exact magazine. May even work with a regular 1022. I don't see why it wouldn't. That may be one of the things that will interchange. Get something like a BX 25 rounder 1022 magazine. It probably will work in here. It appears to be the same footprint. So, and it is rotary, of course, so it's the same design. So I don't see why it wouldn't. So we'll start back here. This is a, it's got a little bit of a recoil pad here, rubberized. It's got the Magpul logo on there. I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of down there, about in the middle. Peep sight on this one, and I think I read it was adjustable. You can do a little bit of adjustment to the peep sight. Got your rear sight there, and front sight is fiber optic, and it has a green insert. You can get different red, whatever fiber optics you want to put in there. It is interchangeable, so that's nice. Picatinny optics mount up there, probably 1022. This one actually looks like it's fixed to it. May not be removable, I don't know on that. Barrel is Mark 22 long rifle, and it is threaded up here, 1/2 by 28. You got a thread protector on here, pretty standard. Very nice. It's nice that it comes pre-threaded. Of course, that's something that 1022 very rarely does, is come pre-threaded. This one gives you that right out of the box. You don't have to rebarrel or anything like that. Taking it to the gun set to get it threaded is usually like $100–150. So, and sometimes you can't even do it on a 1022 because there's just not enough territory between that front sight and the actual muzzle. So this one coming pre-threaded is good value. Get you good feature there. So it's suppressible right out of the box if that's something you're looking to do. You're certainly set up to do that. The next thing on here, you've got the molded in sling swivel slots right here. You got one there, and you got one back here, right there. And finally, you have the M-LOK slots right here. So you got two. Doesn't come with the M-LOK rails. Depending on your bipod, if you want to throw a bipod or any other kind of accessories, laser, flashlight, whatever, grip, those would all go on your Picatinny or M-LOK rails there. Some of them go straight on to M-LOK. Some of them will require the Picatinny to M-LOK adapter, which is not usually too bad. It's like 10 or 15 bucks for a rail. Whether you want one or two slots there, I don't know. Depends on what you're doing. And I guess you got enough space for 2 different accessories if you want, so that's definitely an option. So that's the features you see inherently. Let's go over the rest of the features, the spec sheet. 22 long rifle, semi-automatic action here. Cross bolt safety, so the safety runs across the bolt. It's a much safer gun that way. Some other safeties are not as reliable, but the cross bolt safety right there is pretty reliable. Not all safeties are 100% reliable, of course. It's better to just be safe and practice good gun handling. Don't rely on the safety to do all the work for you, because safeties can fail. They are mechanical. So that's something good to keep in mind. So we'll keep going. It has the bolt hold open. We talked about that. Mag release is extended, so this is a little bit longer. Some of the older 1022s just have like a push down, like a push button. This actually has a latch right there, and you can see it pops it up right there. So that's nice. It allows you to do it with like a gloved hand or something like that. Just more user-friendly, more ergonomic. Extended mag release, just talked about that. M-LOK rail slots. This M-LOK rails are not included. Some do come with it. This one doesn't. Like I said, they're like 10 or 15 bucks to get a rail that will let you use accessories there. Picatinny optics rail included. That's the one that's already on here. Like I said, I don't know if you can take that off. That's looks like it's milled into it, so I would probably say not. So it's permanent. You can't set like your direct rings on there. It's going to be just Picatinny, straight Picatinny is all you get. But that does let you use like red dots if you want. Something like Weaver rails would not let you do that most of the time. But being that it's Picatinny, you can do red dot. Mount your rings right on to the Picatinny if they'll let you. It also means you don't have to track down like specific Ruger or Marlin or anything like that. Branded rings, so that saves you some money. Flush fit 10 round magazine with hold open. We showed that, threaded half by 28 barrel. Barrel itself is good quality. I was impressed. It's kind of a thin walled barrel. But it's not too bad. I imagine you can get some accuracy out of it. I haven't seen any accuracy testing on the TCR22. But it's threaded, so we might take it to the store one day and we'll show you how it shoots with the Sparrow. Ammo's just so expensive right now, we haven't been able to shoot much at all. But hopefully things even out a little bit and we'll get back out there, get out to the range and show you some cool stuff. But threaded is definitely a good feature. The receiver itself is machined aluminum, 6061 if you're curious. From the spec sheet, it is aluminum receiver. Stainless steel bolt, and you can see it's stainless steel, and including the latch, the bolt hold open, the slide, the bolt slide, the bolt handle is what I'm looking for, bolt handle. It is the same material, it is stainless steel, and you can see it there. And it's extended as well, so that's nice. It is a large bolt handle, yeah. 1 to 15 twist straight barrel. Sling swivels are molded in. Adjustable peep sight with fiber optic insert in the front. Compatible with some 1022 magazines. I touched on that. You'd have to do some more research on what exactly will work with it. I wouldn't like go ahead and order a bunch of Volquartsen parts without knowing if the Volquartsen 1022 parts will work on the TCR22. You might be able to talk to Volquartsen and see if they make things like that. You can also just talk to the TCR22 manufacturer, Thompson Center, and see if they know what will work and what will not. The base receiver and barrel, minus the stock, looks very similar to a 1022. The only obvious things I see is the rail is a little bit more forward, and of course you've got your rear sight on the receiver, so that's a little bit different. The overall cutout and the bolt itself probably is identical to a 1022. So I don't know if the extractors are interchangeable. It looks kind of similar, so it could be. The Volquartsen extractor is, of course, one of their most popular parts that you see a lot of people getting for the 1022 because it's just such a good part. I don't know if the barrels are interchangeable. You'd have to ask them, but it's overall looks like a 1022 baseline. Continuing on, 17-inch barrel, 35 inches overall from muzzle to the butt pad there. 4.4 pounds, very light. You could backpack with this. I don't know if they have a takedown model, but it would certainly be a good competitor to the Ruger takedown, the 1022 takedown. The other thing is I don't know if they have a charger. The short barrel, of course. Those may be even copyrighted, I don't know. That may be just something they can't do with the TCR22. Overall, I think the TCR22 is pretty new. So they may have just started with this concept, trying to compete with the Ruger 1022. So who knows, they may roll out a whole bunch of new stuff, new to the TCR22, just a copy of the Ruger 1022. Because overall the features seem to be a lot better fleshed out on this. The Ruger's kind of riding on the brand name. They're pretty much the entry-level 22. But even these, I think these are like right on par with the price, maybe even a little bit higher or lower, depending on where you go, of course. I'd have to look up the MSRP, I don't know right off. The Rugers go anywhere from like $250 to I think $450 for the takedown. So these, I think I remember seeing somewhere between $3 and $350 was the MSRP on these. So they're pretty good value for what you're getting. I mean, they seem to have a lot of features. So they're definitely a competitor to the 1022. If you're thinking about getting an entry-level 22 rifle, I would definitely say, if you're not really liking the 1022 or you want something that's a little bit higher quality, Thompson Center, TCR22. This one, I mean, it's got some features over the 1022 that you'll just have to shell out money if you want to make a 1022 into this. But this having already been done from the factory is good. You don't have to go find aftermarket parts, have somebody do it. It's like the threaded barrel. A lot of the time they're not threaded from Ruger. That's just a simple thing they could do. Make the barrel a little bit longer, thread it, and send it out. I mean, that's not a whole big deal. I mean, if you're at the factory there, it's not a big deal. I mean, just tap the barrel, tap and die. And it provides such a utility to the customer for it to be pre-threaded, to where for a long time. I mean, the Ruger 1022 has been out for 60 years now at least. I know they had some in the 60s. Why they didn't just include threaded, I don't know. I mean, even back to like World War I, they had a Savage rifle that they sold to the military that was threaded for suppressors. So why they didn't just catch on with the threaded barrel idea is beyond me. I don't know. Nowadays, it's almost essential you have a threaded barrel because they just make so many accessories for these rifles and firearms that you really have to have a threaded barrel to compete in the market nowadays. So continuing on, there's only a couple more features. 13 3/4 inch length of pull, a little bit short for a full adult, that being a 14 inch. So it's like right on the edge. I wouldn't say fully youth length. 13 inch would be closer to youth length if you wanted. I don't see why they couldn't make one of these adjustable stock where they just stack the recoil pads on top of each other to get it a little bit longer or shorter. Yeah, I know Browning does that, so I don't know why they couldn't do that. This model is the blued barrel and receiver, and it is Realtree Camo, I said that. And that's about it for the features. Like I said, this is SKU 12300, the Realtree Camo Edge model, TCR22. Edge, I think, is just the camo. I don't think it's anything to do with like the trigger, like an enhanced model. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with the rifle. It gives good utility versus the Ruger 1022. It's definitely something to consider, being that Ruger's base model is just kind of a little lacking in features. It's the same thing over and over. And for the price of a takedown that's going to have most of these features, you're probably saving about $100 to go with a TCR. They probably don't have the proven track record or anything like that. I would probably say definitely Ruger's customer service is going to be better. We've only had to send a couple of Smith & Wessons back, but they're always slammed. But Ruger's really good about getting their customer service. So if you're anticipating a problem, Ruger's going to work with you a little bit better, but hopefully they get these right out of the box. I've not seen any kind of data like that, like I said earlier. They are brand new. Last few years, I think the TCR came out, so they don't really know what the durability is like. So overall, Seems to be a solid rifle. I'd shoot it. Good value for the money, like I said. Definitely a competitor. Something to keep your eye on, see where they go with this concept, the CR22. So, overall, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and check the link in the description. Thanks for watching.